Alright guys, so we're gonna just be continuing today with the complete kind of like teardown series we have going here. So basically we're just gonna be taking this engine, we're probably just gonna take the manifold, both the manifolds off and everything today, because I unfortunately don't really have a ton of time to do this today, but I really want to get a couple of things done at least, because I just feel like I don't want to do it all at once. So we're going to get started on this today. We're going to use some gloves because this thing is a mess. And you don't really need too much finesse, honestly, when you're working on these kinds of things, when you're just tearing stuff apart. So I don't know, I'll just keep my hands clean since it's only like 11 o'clock. Alright, so basically we're just going to start with the exhaust manifold here. And as we go, we're just going to kind of assess what the different condition of, what the condition of the gasket behind it is. Because sometimes if it doesn't stick at all to the cylinder or something, I may sometimes reuse like an exhaust gasket or something, just because they do get like baked onto like one side really badly sometimes, and I just I just use my own discretion, I guess, and decide at the time. But I don't know, especially with like a half pipe gasket, if you can try to salvage those, because those are much more expensive than any of these kind of run-of-the-mill stock gasket here. It's like $30 something for the 3 gaskets for a half pipe. So but yeah, this basically just takes a little time, but pretty straightforward. You don't really have to do anything in any particular order. And then one time the head pipe on this did come loose like these here, so the head pipe was rattling loose and it was running like complete crap, so I brought it in and realized that was what was causing it. So I think when that was vibrating, it destroyed the gasket here, and that's why there's like residue on here from oil, because I think it just had a small exhaust leak where some of the unburnt kind of like fuel and oil mix was like getting sprayed out of the gasket, because this thing I was running it rich because I was breaking it in, and then it was like almost the end of the season and it was starting to get really cold anyways, so I just figured just leave it rich, because I was alright with dealing with a little bit of a harder start on it, just because it just didn't really matter to me. You kind of just learn to deal with it. But you know, it's not bad to have a good easy starting setup, because it is harder on the starter, obviously, which is not a cheap part that gets beat up and eventually fails if you are having to start it a lot, or it takes a while to start it. So that's always good, which I ate through quite a few starters this season, so I don't really think it was like to any fault necessarily of the tuning. It wasn't necessarily that bad. I know a lot of guys who, they sit there and crank on it for a while, like a long time, like 10 seconds or so, multiple times per start. So not as bad as anything like that, but definitely could do a much better job tuning it. So I'm just going to order some jets this week and get everything all set up how it should be. So alright. Yeah, make sure you get, like, if you have any kind of, like, really any manifold, just make sure you get like these 2 lower ones, because sometimes they're easy to miss. See, that gasket looks really good. That looks pretty good. I'm just going to actually just pull all the hardware out. Actually, I'm not going to try to keep it in there or anything. And like, it's really not crucial to like label any of these or anything. I know when I did my first rebuild, I like marked all these and made sure they went in the same place. Really not necessary. That's a good looking gasket right there. That's a real good looking gasket, so that's good. That is good. We're just gonna get a little bit of that nasty residue off of this thing. Got all up on my nice head. But I think we might try to salvage this gasket actually, so just cause why not save myself from having to clean more stuff. Probably just put it right there. Yeah. And then what I'll do, just like right away, just for good practice, is just take a bag. Let me just make sure. It looks like an alright camera angle. Hopefully it's good. But basically what we're gonna do, whoops, is just throw them all in there. You can put them back in by just a process of elimination. And then when you do put these back, when you're gonna put Loctite on them, make sure you wipe them off with like just at least a rag or even a degreaser, like brake cleaner or something, just so that, whoops, have to label it. Just so that you don't get it confused, or I mean, yeah, label it so you don't get it confused, and do brake clean, because if it has like oils and stuff on it, the Loctite won't work as well, so. Okay. Alright, so that's all good there. Just because I'm a little bit, I just worry about stuff a little bit, I'm going to grab a couple, like just like a small rag like this. Hopefully. So yeah, we'll just take a little rag like that, just kind of get all the fluffies off of it. And we're just gonna put that, we're just gonna stuff that in there just cause why not? Why not? Alright, cool. So that's that. Pretty straightforward. And then here, we'll just take the carb off of here, because why not? Ooh. Did a little damage there, I thought, but no, it just must have scuffed up against the side of it when I pulled it out or something. You can always pull the carb off or whatever. Like, you can take like the carburetor off in the machine with like, just to kind of get it out of the way when you remove the engine, just so it's not like running into the side of the hull. I didn't really feel like it, so I did it, and then, you know, almost scuffed that up a little bit. So, my nice carburetor plate. Okay, look at that. That's good looking. That's a good looking gasket right there, and a clean intake. Cool, yeah, we're gonna salvage that too, because why not? And I'll just leave the fasteners right on the carburetor. It's fine how it is. Alright, look at that. That's pretty clean. That looks good on this side. That still looks really good. This is the manifold. That gasket going out definitely made it look way more grimy than it actually is. I didn't even realize it did that, but just a quick replace of the gasket and change the jet from like a 115 low to like 110 or 105, and that'll be no issue whatsoever. You know, we'll clean that right up, no problem, and everything will hopefully stay clean. Alright. So with any aftermarket manifolds, you're going to probably have to get rid of the studs if they're going to be like a longer manifold or whatever. But I just kind of keep one in and I use it on this. Not really too big of a deal. Actually, I might take a picture of that. Just to show what I had the grounds on and stuff. Not that it really matters, but I don't know. I'll just keep it the same, since I used a big ground on this anyways. Yeah. I'll just keep all that together. And then we'll put, or actually, you know what? We'll just throw this in here too. With all that, we'll just throw all that together. It doesn't much matter. Oh, and also with intake manifolds, just like a good little thing that I found is that they have the single gaskets for each side of it that aren't attached. And I think personally, I just like it better when they are attached and it's like a single gasket for both of them, just so that you don't have to worry about like them sliding down, because there's no fastener location there. So it can just be kind of a hassle, especially if you have like a spacer on yours and you're running a 44 instead of like a remote fuel pump or an aftermarket manifold. If you have that kind of situation going on, it's even more of a pain to have 4 gaskets going on and they all just want to roll out and don't want to cooperate. So that's definitely a good option too, is if you can get the gaskets that are all one piece for the manifold instead of 2 separate ones for each side. That's definitely, in my opinion, the better option. And I'm not even going to label this or anything. It's not really a big deal. I know what it is, so that's just is what it is. It doesn't really fit that well with the grounds, but alright. Then this kind of has to get out of here, low key. This is just a bunch of stuff from, is that from that? No. This is just a bunch of stuff from the 440. I tore down and sold some stuff to a guy because I don't really need anything like that. So that's just extra stuff. And that's all extra from that also, so don't need to get that confused with anything going on over here. Okay. Oh wait, you know what? Oh no, that's it. All the fasteners are out. Not really cooperating. Am I overlooking something? That thing is really on there. Okay, I've never had that happen before. The exhaust side came out perfectly fine. Well, guess we're just gonna have to do one of these. Ugh. Oh, whoops. Kind of did that stud in. Well, that thing was really stuck on there. Wow. Well, no big deal. We'll just bend it back. That thing, those gaskets really had a grip on that thing, man. Yeah, it's probably fine. No big deal. Just put that there, and you just throw that in there with that.